Ok.
Welcome to Sealand. Enjoy your stay.
Donc là, on va visiter la plateforme vraiment de l'intérieur avec l'histoire de Sealand qui est vraiment assez exceptionnelle, avec des rébellions, des coups d'État, des interventions de l'armée britannique.
In 1966, the buccaneer spirit was alive round Great Britain's coastline.
From pirate radio to free speech and freedom of the internet, we've been fighting for those things for decades and now for 3 generations. We thought this would be the perfect place to put Sealand's jail, right behind you here. It's been used only one time in our history.
Not really comfortable.
That's intentional.
What do you do if someone wants to come in Sealand?
Well, they'll be repelled. I can't tell you how, but we do have our means.
Is it a pirate nation?
I mean, that sounds kind of cool. We can go with that.
Avant de partir, là, je dois remplir une demande de visa du coup pour me rendre à bord de la micronation. Voilà, ça ressemble à ça. Et normalement, je vais avoir ma nationalité sealandaise en arrivant.
Pour ce nouvel épisode des explorations de flot, je vais vous faire découvrir le plus petit pays du monde, le Sealand. Il est situé à 10 km des côtes anglaises et n'est accessible que par bateau. Mais avant, pour ne pas louper nos prochaines vidéos, abonnez-vous à la chaîne de Bruce.
We're heading out to Sealand, or Rough Towers as it's known locally. We've just been built on some rough shoals under the sea. I mean, this is the best day possible. Once you get out to sea into the North Sea, it can become very rough quickly. And obviously to get onto Sealand, there's a chair system to lift you off the boat and then onto the platform, which when there's a large swell or a large current, that's very dangerous.
On commence à voir le Sealand, là c'est cette plateforme qui est plantée au milieu de la mer du Nord là-bas.
I wouldn't want to live there for more than 3 days. Yeah.
Donc c'est avec ça qu'on va devoir monter. C'est hyper impressionnant.
J'ai grave le vertige et là le seul moyen de monter c'est de passer par la potence qui est juste là. Donc voilà. Mais bon, maintenant je suis là et je peux pas trop faire demi-tour. Waouh. Bon, le matos c'est à bord, moi je sais pas encore. Ok, c'est parti, c'est mon tour.
Okay, fine. Okay, up!
Waouh, c'est hyper haut. Je vous donne beaucoup de ma personne quand même, Ruth, je trouve. Hein. Putain. Hello! Waouh. Ok. Allez. Ça y est, on est monté quoi. C'était impressionnant, mais je suis ravi d'être là. Ça fait longtemps que j'avais envie de faire un reportage sur cette micronation, donc c'est assez ouf là d'être sur cette plateforme en pleine mer du Nord. C'est impressionnant, hein. Franchement. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, welcome to Sealand. Nice to meet you.
How should I call you? Prince Liam?
Prince Liam, or for today, Liam is fine. So this is Sealand. This is a sovereign country by my grandfather in 1967. So for almost 60 years we've been sovereign and independent. And yeah, I'll show you around. I'll take you up to the top to the helipad. So there's 2 ways of arriving to Sealand. One is by helicopter, which lands here, and the other one is by winch. So the fortress was placed here during the Second World War. It was strategically placed near the Thames estuary to shoot down Nazi bombers. And so after the war, the UK abandoned it, so it was no man's land in international waters. So my grandfather came and took it over. He founded a country here. And I've spent an awful lot of time here since I was a child. I first came out here when I was about 3 or 4 years old and used to stay out in the summer holidays with my father and things like that. He would teach us about Sealand, he would teach us to fish, how to sustain yourself, to catch your own food, to All these kind of life skills we learned at a young age. He's taught us how to shoot shotguns, rifles, and I didn't realize at the time, but I suppose what he was teaching me was how to live on Sealand, and more importantly, how to defend Sealand, because there's been a long, storied past of invasions and things like that at Sealand. So it needs, we have to look after ourselves. We're our own police force, our own military, and we're completely on our own out here. So it's super important.
Alors pour redonner un petit peu de contexte, toute cette histoire est liée à l'émergence des radios pirates dans les années 60.
The British Isles give a listen to Swinging Radio England.
En fait, la BBC avait le monopole sur la radio et refusait de diffuser les musiques qui étaient très prisées des jeunes, comme le rock et la pop. Et donc en opposition, plusieurs radios pirates ont été créées dans le pays, dont la fameuse Radio Caroline qui a inspiré le film Good Morning England, et Radio Essex, créée par Paddy Roy Bates, le grand-père de Liam.
You're listening to Radio Essex, at the time it's 20 minutes before the hour of 2 o'clock.
In 1966, the buccaneer spirit was alive round Great Britain's coastline. From little ships around the coasts, from disused ack-ack forts in the estuaries, the pop poured out almost non-stop.
Mais face à l'émergence de toutes ces radios pirates, le gouvernement britannique a décidé de les interdire. C'est à ce moment-là que Paddy Roy Bates entend parler de For All, la plateforme sur laquelle je me trouve en ce moment, et décide d'y installer sa radio pirate, car cette plateforme se trouve en dehors des eaux territoriales britanniques.
Now Bates is in the front line in the fight against the Postmaster General. Already he's been convicted for unauthorized use of a transmitter, but he's appealing and he's still broadcasting.
Sauf que quand il arrive ici, la radio concurrente Radio Caroline dont je vous ai parlé avant est déjà installée et il va les faire partir de force.
So yeah, there was a couple of guys from Radio Caroline already on this fortress when my grandfather arrived. He essentially brought a boat out here, climbed up and said, I'm also going to be here now. And the guys on Caroline were very angry. They fell out. The guys on Caroline left. And then after that, in the months following, Radio Caroline sent several boats out here with guys armed, trying to take the fortress back by force. My father and one other guy was out here at the time. My father was only 14 years old. He was, throwing petrol bombs at them and basically fighting off the invaders. And he did so successfully many times. So that's why we're still here today. The intention was to broadcast from here, but then I think my grandfather just had a much grander idea that fit much better with his personality, which was, he was a big adventurer and a rebel, so this was absolutely perfect for him, one big adventure.
Alors forcément, une micronation aux portes de l'Angleterre, ça plaît pas du tout au gouvernement britannique. Ils ont essayé de les déloger au départ, ils ont envoyé la Navy, donc l'équivalent de la marine, sauf que quand ils sont arrivés ici, ils ont été reçus par des coups de fusil tirés par le père et le grand-père de Liam, et ils ont dû repartir. À la suite de ça, ils se sont retrouvés devant la justice britannique pour possession et usage d'armes à feu, mais la plateforme étant située à l'extérieur du territoire britannique, le tribunal a jugé qu'ils n'avaient pas les compétences pour juger cette affaire, et pour eux, forcément, c'était la reconnaissance que leur État existait.
The Navy came from the direction of the UK over here. My father was on the fortress alone, and so my father fired warning shots across the bow of the naval vessel, and after that it left. In one of the Prime Minister's cabinet meetings, he said he was worried about a Cuba off the east coast of the UK, and of course, this is a big problem for the UK. They don't like the thought of having a country on their coast they can't control.
Il déclare l'endroit Terra Nullius, une terre n'appartenant à personne, et revendique le territoire. Alors s'il a pu faire ça, c'est parce qu'avant il y avait la règle des 3000 marins, qui équivaut à peu près à 5,5 km. C'était la règle en vigueur pour délimiter les eaux territoriales d'un pays jusqu'à l'adoption du Territorial Sea Act en 1987. Portant les eaux territoriales à 12 000 marins, soit environ 22 km. Le Sealand, qui était du coup avant en dehors de cette zone, est depuis techniquement dans les eaux britanniques, mais les autorités ferment les yeux aujourd'hui.
So through here, this is our kitchen area.
Donc là, on arrive à l'intérieur, on voit qu'ils ont vraiment tout transformé pour rendre la plateforme habitable. À la base, c'était vraiment une infrastructure militaire et en plus qui était abandonnée quand ils sont arrivés. Donc c'était très précaire.
So in here we have the living room. When my grandfather came here the first time, it was extremely basic. There wouldn't have been any of these windows. There were small, just tiny portholes. Everything was... It was a war relic, so nothing was really designed for living in comfortable conditions. It was designed just literally to house the sailors, house the ammunition, give them the ability to shoot down the planes. So pretty much everything you see here today are things that we have built up over the years to make it a comfortable environment to live in. We have the small plastic doll of Ed Sheeran. He's, of course, the Baron of Sealand, so we got to have Ed here in the lounge with us. You don't need to film the bathrooms, I suppose.
If you'd like to join me in immigration, we'll have a look at your passport.
Okay.
This is your passport, is it? We check everybody's passport. It is important, if you're going to be an independent country, you need to know who's on your island as such. You know, it's very important. Britain might not care too much, but we do. We like to know who's here, and we're very fussy about who comes to stays. In theory. It's August and individual.
Do you refuse often some people?
Oh yes. Many people are refused. Lots of people would like to come to Sealand, but if we feel they're not desirable or we don't know what their intentions are, if they've got no need to come here, there's no point in them coming here. Unless they want to come here and work or help us, we don't allow it. It's as simple as that. We have a few regulars, that's our people. Probably, I don't know, probably about 15 or so people a year. Maybe more. It depends.
Okay, so I'm really lucky.
Oh, you are very lucky. We don't have hundreds or thousands. We don't get in. There's no need. You know, we just have a few people come out every now and then.
Okay.
Welcome to Sealand. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you. So you are like the guardian of Sealand?
Yes. Yeah, I'm head of Homeland Security. I'm responsible for also the maintenance of the island and the upkeep and power generation mainly, and communications with the mainland.
You have to ensure also security. What do you do if someone wants to come in Sealand?
Well, they'll be repelled. I can't tell you how, but we do have our means. You know, we're not going to stand here and be taken over. Let's put it that way.
Donc là, on est en train de descendre du coup à l'intérieur du pilier nord de la plateforme. On va aller jusqu'au niveau de l'eau comme ça.
There's 7 floors. You go all the way pretty much to the seabed. So this is the old generator room. Super important to be able to generate your own electricity out here. You know, you absolutely have to take responsibility for yourself and be off grid. We don't really run these generators anymore, or we run almost exclusively on renewables. But we also keep this here because it's part of the heritage of Sealand. You know, it's part of our history. There's a lift shaft that goes all the way down to the bottom of the tower here. They're all covered and it's all fine, but just be mindful as you move around. This lift shaft was originally used in the Second World War to take ammunition from the magazines down the bottom of the tower up to the anti-aircraft guns. So we don't really use it too much, apart from to pull heavy things up and down by pulley. So that's why we have it all fenced off. Now we're going into the next floor. This, as you go further down the tower, you'll find bedrooms, the chapel, the gym. So this room is the gym and a bit of a storage room, because to be honest, we don't use this equipment nearly as much as we should.
You don't?
Occasionally, not too often.
Come on.
Now this is almost as it was.
What do you think so far?
It's huge.
It's big, isn't it? There's obviously the other tower has rooms all the way down, exactly the same. We don't use those ones as much. This is more where the living space is, you know.
How many meters square are there?
Total of the whole fortress, about 4,000 meters squared. So in here we have one of our bedrooms. This isn't really used too much, but when we have visitors or, you know, Sealanders or families staying, this would be one of the rooms that they would use.
How many people can live in Sealand?
It really depends. During the war there was 200 to 300 sailors and Navy personnel living here, but now I think with our water supply, our energy supply, up to 30. You know, at 30 you're starting to push the limits of it. We can increase that, we have the space and we have the ability to generate more power and everything. So in this floor we have more bedrooms. We bring, you know, Sealanders and family and friends out here. It's We don't want to run it as a hotel. This is our country, this is our home, you know. So this is the Sealand Chapel. This is a multi-faith chapel. We have freedom of religion in Sealand, so anybody is free to practice their religion as long as they don't, you know, impede on each other. We all respect each other's faith here. We even have Scientology books in here also. We have a constitution. My grandfather signed the original constitution in 1972. It got updated in the late 90s. The basis of the constitution is really all about protecting freedoms. They're the cornerstones of Sealand, individual rights, you know. We very much respect freedom of speech, property rights, and we've been fighting for those things for decades and now for 3 generations. From pirate radio to, you know, free speech and freedom of the internet really is how it's moved on to today, and we continue to try and spread that message globally, you know. From the day of Declaration of Independence on the 2nd of September 1967, the Principality has been wholly independent of any other state or any other external force, and as a token of this independence, all matters both national and international have been determined solely by the sovereign empowered from time to time. We don't have a king. Sealand is a principality. My father is the sovereign prince. It was declared a principality really to simplify the law, because it removes a lot of the legal layers, so the sovereign prince's word is the law. So that allowed us to move a bit quicker in establishing Sealand. I have an older brother, so he will be the sovereign prince one day. But we have plans to turn Sealand into a decentralized government, essentially, so that our e-citizens will be able to vote on things and really involve the community in more of the actual management of Sealand and helping shape its future and where it goes in the years and generations to come. It'll be a place where you can be a citizen of Sealand, but you do so online. You know, you'll vote for things online, you'll vote for all sorts of things that are yet to be determined, but essentially the way we run Sealand and more importantly the way we shape it into the future. That will be done in a decentralized way, and it will also ensure that the laws and the constitution of Sealand are respected, so that will be written into code, so it will never be able to change.
Donc là on est vraiment au point le plus bas du pilier nord, au niveau de la mer, et d'ailleurs si on tend l'oreille on l'entend.
This is as far as we're probably going to go down today. During the war this would have been used as an ammunition store through here. But, you know, being at the bottom of the tower, we thought this would be the perfect place to put the Sealand's jail, which is right behind you here. I think it's important to have a clock that doesn't work in a room like this, so you have no idea what time of day or day.
Donc là on est vraiment dans la prison. Elle a servi une seule fois après un coup d'état en 1978. En fait 3 ans plus tôt, Alexander Hackenbach, un homme d'affaires allemand, aide Paddy Roy Bates à écrire la constitution et devient après Premier ministre. Mais plus tard il va user une ruse pour envoyer Paddy Roy Bates et sa femme à l'étranger pour un voyage d'affaires, et pendant ce temps-là il s'empare de la plateforme.
While he was away, my father was manning Sealand on his own, and the guy sent a group of Dutch and German mercenaries to invade Sealand. They took my father prisoner for a few days. They left him with no food and water, you know, bolted him in the room. After a lot of fighting with them and all sorts of altercations, they put him on a Dutch trawler and sent him to Holland. He then made his way back to the UK. He regrouped with my grandfather and some other Sealanders. They then launched a dawn helicopter raid on Sealand. Armed, my father had a sawn-off shotgun, all the other guys had pistols and rifles and things, and they flew out at dawn, abseiled out of the helicopter and stormed the fortress, and the invaders surrendered unconditionally.
Quand ils arrivent à reprendre la plateforme, les mercenaires sont renvoyés, mais Alexander Hackenbach, qui a la nationalité sealandaise, est fait prisonnier pour trahison. Et pour faire libérer l'un de leurs concitoyens, le gouvernement allemand envoie un diplomate officiellement en mission au Sealand. Pour Paddy et Roy, c'est forcément la reconnaissance de leur nation. Ok.
Not really comfortable.
Not very comfortable, huh? That's intentional.
How long did he stay here?
He was here about 3 months, but for treason, I think it was a pretty good deal to let him go after 3 months, huh? Another guest bedroom here, which is, yeah, I mean, pretty cozy. You can hear the waves lapping against the side of the tower because we're around about water level here, so it's also very relaxing and calming.
How did you bring everything? By boat?
Everything, pretty much everything by boat. Yeah, it's difficult bringing anything out here and doing any works out here to make improvements is very expensive, very time consuming and very hard, but I think it's worth it. You want to see this room? It's just a meeting room. If we have anything important to discuss, this would be where we would do it.
On est en train de rejoindre la surface là. C'est fou, hein. Il y a 7 niveaux, le truc est vraiment immense en fait. Hein. Quand on arrive à la plateforme rectangulaire, ça fait la taille de juste 2 terrains de basket. Mais en fait, dès qu'on s'enfonce, on se rend compte que c'est gigantesque. Hein.
How was the life when your grandfather and your grandmother came here?
When my grandfather and grandmother came here, you didn't have anything like a stove. You had to bring absolutely everything with you. It would have been more like camping, you know. Everything was eaten out of a can, or if you could catch some fish from over the side or a lobster in the pot, then great, you were going to enjoy your meal. But otherwise, it was a tin of spam and maybe some beans. This is actually the national dish of Sealand, actually lobster spaghetti, because we sometimes are able to catch lobsters from around here. So it's part of you know, using your environment and part of being resourceful and eating foods that are dried or out of a can.
Lobster Daddy! Right,
so unfortunately today the lobster pots are empty, so it's just going to be plain tomato pasta. So yeah. For some context, it was just my family and a small boat that they used to come out here in. You know, it was a husband and wife and their 2 young children trying to build this life. They didn't even have the generators running. When they arrived, the generators hadn't run since the war. So they went to the other fortresses locally and they would salvage parts from them, and, you know, really, it was survival, you know, but they had this dream and determination to make it work. So, and that's what they did. They lived as a family on here for quite a few years. And then at some points there would be my dad just here, or my grandfather just here, or even my grandmother just here with my auntie. So they kind of, you know, chopped and changed, but they also had to try and make money elsewhere to fund this stream, you know. So it was very, very difficult for a very long time. I mean, Sealand only became self-sustaining about 10 years ago. This is just an alarm to a midday alarm, because we all check in with each other at midday.
It's not like an invasion.
Not this time. But keep your eye on the horizon, you never know. This is a radio setup, so we continually monitor the shipping for any incidents in our territorial waters that we may need to respond to and help out with.
Entretenir une plateforme comme ça, c'est extrêmement coûteux. Ils ont essayé donc plusieurs modèles économiques pour se maintenir à flot dans les dernières décennies. À un moment, ils ont eu l'idée de transformer cette plateforme en casino flottant. Après, ils ont voulu en faire un paradis fiscal. Puis une zone pour héberger des serveurs de sites, notamment des sites illégaux comme des sites de téléchargement de musique dans les années 2000.
Whose family declared this steel platform a sovereign principality back in the 60s, but which now house company servers with an encrypted link to the mainland.
Ils sont également assez actifs d'un point de vue de la communication sur les réseaux sociaux notamment, mais aussi avec des coups comme la création de l'équipe nationale de football sealandaise.
First ever player to score a hat-trick for Sealand.
He played in the Sealand football team for quite a few years. He was the first ever player to score, as he said, to score a hat-trick, so 3 goals in 1 game. But he was one of our key players. He was an absolutely sensational footballer, to be honest. That's the first and last time that I'll ever say that about him, though. Okay? Oh, he's doing the passport. We're just getting my friend's passport stamped, because even though he's a Sealander and he's a friend, immigration is immigration.
Zero tolerance. There you are, sir.
These are some of the flags from our games that we've played. We played against the Chagos Islands, against Alderney in one of the Channel Islands.
We're improving. Well, we've made a few signings and our squad's getting better.
We follow Sealand wherever we may be.
I think it's part of having a national identity. It's important to have these things. If you want to truly be a Sealander, you have to have these things that you can get behind, that you can be passionate about. You know, you get to watch your team. There's nothing more special than watching your country's team compete in, you know, playing football. It's an emotional experience that's, you know, it's unmatched. This is our American football team, the Sealand Seahawks. They travel all over Europe. They've been to They played in France, Spain, Ireland, Iceland.
The Seahawks were incredible. They were amazing.
You probably need this, don't you, still?
Oh, here we go.
We're setting up the Starlink, Sealand's internet.
So what is that?
That's the router. We use cellular, so it's a bit inconsistent, slow, so this will massively improve our lives on Sealand.
Does it have to point in any particular orientation?
I don't think so, but the app tells you that when you set it up.
Normally you have to be able to, it's very critical.
I don't think so. Our economy is based on the internet, but plus we need to be able to talk to our community. You know, that's how Sealand really lives, is globally through our online community, so it's super important.
And there is no purpose to not paying any tax if you become a Sealandese citizen?
No, Sealand's it's not a tax haven. No, I think the reason people love Sealand globally is that sense of adventure, self-determination, and something really unique. Let's check the speed.
Oh.
Here we go, it's fast. We now have independence of the internet.
But you rely on Elon Musk.
Absolutely. Yeah, do you know what? I'm sure Elon Musk's very friendly to the Sealand cause. We're libertarians here. Yeah, we're all about, you know, freedom and, you know, being able to do things for yourself, to rely on yourself, and to protect freedoms. I mean, Sealand was founded in the 60s because my grandfather was battling against the BBC, because starting in pirate radio, trying to broadcast the swinging 60s into the UK.
Illegal transmission, illegal reception certainly. Millions tune in, but few realise they can be fined up to £50 for listening.
People in the UK were allowed 1 hour of pop music per week in the 60s. I mean, it's unimaginable today with the internet and YouTube and everything. But your freedom to listen to the things that you wanted to listen to are very much restricted. That's where the idea of Sealand was born out of that battle for those freedoms, and we continue them today.
You never think to move there totally? It's too hard.
It's difficult because I have a business with my family also in the UK, so my demands are both, you know. So, you know, we help fund Sealand with that and everything, so it's I have responsibilities to both. So if you look in on the roof here, you'll see that there's some damage from the fire in 2006. It really took years to get Sealand back to where it was before that.
I'm all right, you? Okay. What about Wednesday?
You don't shoot everybody?
Not everybody. We're quite selective over who we do that to. My grandfather lived here for a long time. My grandfather passed away in 2012, but he lived here for a long time. Other Sealanders lived here. My father lived here from the age of 14 and then on and off for the rest of his life. He's 73 now, so he doesn't come as much as he used to when he was a younger man, because it's a little bit more tricky, but for sure he still spends as much time out here as he can. I've spent an awful lot of time out here. This is my family's legacy. This is our identity. This is what we do and who we are. So I'm hoping that my children, they also spend a lot of time on Sealand and they keep the place going. This place is the heart and soul of me and my family. I think you get a feeling of being a part of Sealand that you don't get really anywhere else in the world. You feel truly free when you're out here. You're making your own rules, you're responsible for yourself, and that feeling is unlike any other.
Aujourd'hui, plus aucun membre de la famille n'habite de façon permanente sur la plateforme. Le seul habitant à l'année depuis le début des années 2000, c'est le gardien, douanier et homme à tout faire, Mike Barrington.
Sometimes there's 2 or 3 of us. It depends on what's going on. I do quite like my own company, I must admit. I think it's about 38 years or something stupid like that. It's a long time.
It's not too hard.
No, it's not too hard. There's a lot of things, unlike living on land, you have to purify your own water, generate your own electricity, and when the water stops coming out the tap, it's your problem, not anybody else's. And when the lights go out, it's no good getting on the telephone and asking, oh, sorry, I've got a power cut, because it's our problem and nobody else's. So you're on your own as far as getting on with things. There's backup on land, but it takes time. The whole thing is you are independent away from everybody else. And if you can't handle that, you just don't come to Sealand.
So this is these tanks here, the black ones, are our rainwater collection. We harvest the rain off of the helipad, We clean it, it goes into these tanks. These ones here are the replacement. We're going to replace some of them and expand it a little bit. But this is another part of being independent. You know, we have our own water supply. Living on Sealand has always been a massive task, you know, just to sustain yourself and survive. Things have got much easier over the years with renewables, the price of them coming down and the availability. It's great. You can see also up here we have the solar panels, the wind turbines, so 99% of our electricity comes from wind and solar. So we're completely off-grid here. I mean, we live a pretty normal life, unsurprisingly, out here. You know, we can watch the TV, we do all the things that you might expect, you know, on the internet. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. Even when I was a child, it was the TV went on for 30 minutes each day because you had to run the generator. And to run the generator, you had to bring heavy drums of fuel out by boat, and it was hand winched up onto the fortress. Everything was hard, you know, back in the day. But now, we've got everything pretty set up to live quite a comfortable life out here.
Are there any country who recognize Sealand right now?
Aside from the German government obviously giving us de facto recognition in the 70s, we haven't got recognition by another country. But to be honest with you, we don't do a lot of work diplomatically for that. Our focus is on building our community and having it large enough to give you that social proof to say, look, we exist. There's no way you can deny that this place and this community doesn't exist. And by showing that community online, I think you really drive that point home and prove it.
What do you answer to people who say it's not a real country?
Of course it's a real country. Look, we're here, we have our own territory, and it's been going for 60 years. This isn't some short idealistic project, you know. This is rooted in a quirk of international law, you know, the sovereignty, no man's land, international waters. I don't think it could be ever done again. In fact, the other forts that were in international waters were promptly blown up by the UK. So I think it's pretty clear that this is a country and it's here to stay. So this is our flag, the Sealand flag. The colours, red for Roy, who was my grandfather who founded Sealand. White is the white path of virtue. And as Sealanders, we all aim to walk the white path of virtue. And black is for our roots in pirate radio. There's a few things that you need to be a country. You need a territory like this. There's all sorts of things that you need, like a flag, a constitution. Then you have things like national anthem. But what really makes a country is the people. You know, the people are the heart and soul. You know, so if you get people to believe in you, then you have a country. I can tell you with certainty there are thousands of people that would move here tomorrow if you invited them. I would love to see Sealand become more of an active place where our e-citizens and other members of the community really participate in our governance and they're able to visit. We need to renovate the fortress in a bigger way so that we can accommodate that. But it's essential, and that's what our plan is for the future.
So is it a pirate nation?
I mean, that sounds kind of cool. We can go with that. So in here, we have your noble title.
Lord Thomas.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Here we are. So I've got the pleasure of making you Lord Florian Thomas of Sealand.
Okay, thank you very much.
We've been offering noble titles to our community for almost 15 years now. So we have lords and ladies in pretty much every country around the world.
Je suis un lord désormais. Respectez-moi davantage.
Also, I have something else for you. I've made you an e-citizen of Sealand.
Wow. So now I have two nationalities.
Yeah, you're dual national.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Je vous montre ça quand même. J'ai donc le titre de lord désormais et la carte d'identité sealandaise. J'espère que vous avez apprécié cette vidéo. À bientôt pour de nouvelles explorations.
I think the message of Sealand only gets more and more important every year. You know, politically, showing people that you need to defend, you know, political freedoms, personal freedoms. I think that message will always be relevant. I don't see a world where we don't all have to fight for that, and I think it's so important. I think that's one reason that Sealand really resonates with people throughout the world.